This video will mainly focus on the Philippines a century hence, a modern-day discussion. The Philippines a century hence is an essay written by the Philippine national hero Jose Rizal to forecast the future of the country within 100 years. Rizal felt that it was time to remind Spain that the circumstances that ushered in the French Revolution could have a telling effect for her in the Philippines.
I will start with the opening sentence or the first paragraph. Um, so as you can see in the first paragraph that Jose Rizal's intention of being straightforward to his past works. And you can see in this paragraph that stating that without weighing the, the consequences that our frankness may be bring upon us. You can see how straightforward Jose Rizal is. Even in his previous works, which is the El Feli and No Le Me Tangere, you will notice that how direct he is. And moving to the next slides. So this part, as we all know, the Philippines a century hence is a essay. Now this should be his first writing among the 10 writings series that have been released to clarify the misunderstanding of the previous writing that he had. So what are those writings? So some statement of La Solaridad, El Fili, and No Le Me Tangere made the readers misunderstood of the purpose of his articles. So the second significance of this is the analysis of the past. So the article 1 or the part 1 of the Philippines a century hence talks about the past of the Philippines to assess or analyze what future will be. And so the third one is effect of the Spanish colonization, and the last one is the operation of the colonizers.
Issues from the article. The first article is Article 1 I found in the website. So first issue, Spain is the dictator. So during the time of implementation of the military laws on the Spaniard, so that time Filipino was so abused that they can kill whenever they want. Our economy is very down because we are colonized, and also our agriculture. We can't use our lands because the friars steal it from us. But there are some like the family of Rizal that they have land, but it is owned by the Peninsulares, and they rented for it. And then the degradation of the founding unit of society was, we all know, is the family. And from time to time, family doesn't have importance or doesn't have any value because somebody switch side due to power and greed and for them to survive. The next issue is the loss of treasure. It's all about on our culture. In perspective, we accept the culture, but it happened while Spain introduced their power with force, because if we will not follow, so they will kill us. They are the superior race during the time. So the Filipino, as if who is in the high rank or who is trending, a natural hypocrites, social climber, and the crab mentality. So they will follow the culture that is good or more beautiful than ours. That's why when they accept the culture, they deny their own heritage. If Filipino are not from a wealthy family, so Filipinos were considered Indios. Natural means uneducable people, illiterate people. Once they hug the culture of Spain, they will deny it. They will answer that they are half-blooded as an excuse. And because of that, they didn't know what is the trend of their present lifestyle. As Dr. Jose Rizal always says, ang taong di marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa kanyang paroroonan. So once you deny your heritage, your ancestors' tradition, you will be subjected to vulnerability. That means if you forget your foundation culture or foundation tradition, it is easy to us to be invaded by other culture because we didn't love our own. Like now, mano po to the elders. Only a few of us know it because we are influenced by the other culture that made the line negligence to the preservation of our own race and tradition. Also, one of the issue, submission to invaders. Some of Filipinos wants to fight, but they are forced to follow the tradition and cultures of Spain because if they will not follow, so look at the background of our presentation. That's mean spolarium. They will die if they will not follow.
There are questions that has been arose throughout the article. One that says if the Philippines would continue to be a Spanish colony. It has been answered throughout the history of the Philippines. When the Spanish-American War ignited in 1898, the forces of the Spain was forced to surrender the Philippines to USA. Now this answered the question number one. This is a correlation to the first question if the answer would be otherwise. And yes, the Philippines would somehow be autonomous as it has been the most protested issue of Rizal to the Spanish Cortes that Filipinos should not be deprived of the rights to politics. However, this will require the Filipino people to compromise their chances to become an independent nation and continue to be a province of Spain. Now, Philippines fall into the hands of the Americans after the Spanish era. However, in a modern discussion, Philippines has been a subject to disputes that scopes territories and migration.
Can Spain prevent the progress of the Philippines? So the first answer is the Spaniards couldn't keep Filipinos as their minions. The awareness to nationalism still sprouted in the seedbed that they thought it was infertile. So the Spaniards are so arrogant, they thought that the Filipinos are induced. They thought Filipinos are dumb that can be easily manipulated. But despite of the stereotypings from the Spaniards, there are still Filipinos who stand out to protect and fight back for the Filipinos, just like Rizal, Andres, and etc. Number two, because of the excessive hindrance from the Spaniards to the Filipinos, it becomes their motivation to challenge for a change and protest for reforms. Even to death, Filipinos fought. Wars and famine are already been their veins before the Spaniards came. So before the Spaniards came to our country, Filipinos are already a warriors. That's why we have a warriors from our culture. So the Filipinos never refuse a fight. When the time Spaniards came, they cannot afford all-out war to the Filipinos because there's a lot of Filipinos. They don't want to waste their men. So that's why Spaniards are afraid of Filipinos when they came here.
Rizal had this vision, looked like it's a prophecy. Philippines enlisted a history that never favors a race that dominates the other. This is proven on 1898 when the Spanish-American War ignited and United States settled for the Philippines in a diplomatic way. Maybe Rizal saw our shot to independence as Filipinos' enthusiasm to freedom already sprouted on his time, and heroes like Bonifacio, Luna, and Aguinaldo rose for a revolt for liberation of the country. It's not very long time after Rizal's death that Philippines gained her long-awaited independence. This is a confirmation to what he points out through the essay that a domination by one people to a different race, faking superiority by assorting usages and customs, and variation and opposing ideas will never be signified through history. One of the two races must yield and succumb.